wiring configuration described appears correct for establishing an isolated ground in panel B. Let's examine the details. Firstly, from the main disconnect to panel A, you have 4 number 2/0 conductors, 1 number 6 conductor, and 1 number 10 conductor installed in a 2.5-inch conduit. These conductors are protected by a 150 amp fuse. Secondly, from panel A to panel B, you have 4 number 6 conductors and 2 number 10 conductors installed in a 1.25-inch conduit. These conductors are protected by a 60 amp breaker located in panel B. The isolated ground in panel B is achieved by maintaining separation between the neutral and ground bars within the panel. This separation prevents the bonding of the neutral and ground at the panel, thereby creating a dedicated path for ground fault currents. This separate path minimizes the potential for unwanted current flow through the neutral conductor, which can contribute to electrical noise and interference in sensitive electronic equipment. The purpose of an isolated ground is to provide a clean grounding path for sensitive electronic equipment. By isolating the ground connection from the normal building ground, you can reduce the amount of electrical noise and interference that is present on the ground wire. This can improve the performance of the equipment and prevent damage from electrical surges. An isolated ground system is typically used in areas where sensitive electronic equipment is used, such as hospitals, laboratories, and recording studios. It is important to consult with a qualified electrician or electrical engineer to determine if an isolated ground system is appropriate for your application. The number 2/0 copper conductors are suitable for carrying the current required by the 150 amp fuse. The number 6 copper conductors are appropriately sized for the 60 amp breaker. The number 10 conductors serve as grounding conductors. The use of a 2.5-inch conduit for the conductors from the main disconnect to panel A is likely sufficient to meet conduit fill requirements, and the 1.25-inch conduit for the conductors from panel A to panel B is likely also adequate. However, it's crucial to verify these conduit fill calculations based on the specific types of conductors being used, referring to the National Electrical Code, or NEC. The absence of bonding between the neutral and ground bars in panel B is the key element in establishing the isolated ground. This prevents the flow of neutral current through the ground conductor, reducing noise and potential for ground loops. A ground loop occurs when there are multiple ground paths in a circuit. This can cause currents to flow through the ground conductor, which can create noise and interference. Isolated grounds help break these ground loops. It is critical to ensure the integrity of the grounding system by verifying that the isolated ground conductor is properly connected back to the main grounding electrode system at the service entrance. This connection provides a path for fault current to return to the source, facilitating the operation of overcurrent protective devices like circuit breakers or fuses. Remember that this wiring configuration should be installed by a qualified electrician in accordance with all applicable electrical codes, including the NEC and any local amendments. An isolated ground is a specialized type of grounding system that is designed to reduce electrical noise. In a standard grounded electrical system, the neutral and ground wires are connected together at the main electrical panel. This creates a common path for current to flow back to the source. However, this common path can also allow electrical noise to flow through the ground wire, which can interfere with sensitive electronic equipment. An isolated ground system separates the neutral and ground wires, creating a separate path for current to flow back to the source. This helps to reduce the amount of electrical noise that is present on the ground wire. It's important to check local electrical codes and regulations, as they may provide specific requirements or restrictions on the use of isolated ground systems. Additionally, consider the specific equipment being served by the isolated ground circuit. The manufacturer's recommendation should be followed regarding grounding requirements. Typical applications where isolated grounds are utilized include audio recording studios, broadcast facilities, medical facilities with sensitive diagnostic equipment, and data centers. In these environments, minimizing electrical noise is crucial for optimal performance and data integrity. Some important NEC articles to be aware of regarding grounding and bonding include Article 250. This article provides comprehensive requirements for grounding and bonding electrical systems to ensure safety and minimize electrical shock hazards. Specifically, Section 250.96 addresses bonding requirements for metal enclosures and raceways to create a low-impedance path for fault current. Section 250.146 covers the requirements for connecting the equipment grounding conductor to the grounding electrode system. Section 250.30 provides rules for grounding separately derived systems such as generators or transformers. It's also important to understand the difference between equipment grounding conductors and equipment bonding jumpers. Equipment grounding conductors provide a path for fault current to return to the source, while equipment bonding jumpers connect metal parts of the electrical system together to ensure electrical continuity and create a low-impedance ground fault path. The NEC provides tables for sizing grounding conductors based on the size of the overcurrent protective device protecting the circuit. These tables ensure that the grounding conductor is large enough to safely carry fault current. Another important aspect of grounding is the use of ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs. GFCIs are designed to protect people from electrical shock by detecting small imbalances in current flow and quickly interrupting the circuit. GFCIs are required in many locations, such as bathrooms, kitchens, and outdoor areas. Surge protective devices, or SPDs, are used to protect electrical equipment from voltage surges caused by lightning or other events. SPD divert the surge current to ground, preventing it from damaging sensitive equipment. When installing an isolated ground system, it's crucial to use the correct type of wiring and connectors. The isolated ground conductor should be insulated and should not come into contact with any other metal parts of the electrical system. Special isolated ground receptacles are available that provide a separate connection for the isolated ground conductor. Proper labeling of isolated ground circuits is essential to prevent accidental connections to the normal grounding system. The labeling should clearly indicate that the circuit is an isolated ground and should not be connected to the normal ground. Regular inspection and testing of the grounding system is important to ensure that it is functioning properly. Ground impedance testing can be used to verify the integrity of the grounding connections and ensure that the ground impedance is within acceptable limits. Infrared scanning can also be used to detect loose or corroded connections in the grounding system. The green insulated conductor is designated as the equipment grounding conductor. The NEC dictates that it should be green in color. When dealing with electrical systems, always prioritize safety. Wear appropriate personal protective equipment, or PPE, such as safety glasses, gloves, and insulated tools. To energize circuits before working on them, and use a voltage tester to verify that the circuit is de-energized. If you are not comfortable working on electrical systems, hire a qualified electrician to do the work. Working with electricity can be dangerous, and it's important to take all necessary precautions to protect yourself and others. Keep in mind that electrical codes and regulations can vary depending on your location. Always check with your local authorities to ensure that you are following the correct codes. Furthermore, be aware of potential hazards such as arc flash and arc blast when working with electrical equipment. Arc flash is a dangerous electrical explosion that can cause serious burns and other injuries. Arc blast is the pressure wave created by an arc flash, which can also cause injuries. Take steps to minimize the risk of arc flash and arc blast by wearing appropriate PPE and following safe work practices. In addition to isolated grounds, there are other types of specialized grounding systems, such as high-impedance grounding and corner-grounded delta systems. Each type of grounding system has its own advantages and disadvantages and is suitable for different applications. High-impedance grounding limits the amount of fault current that can flow in the event of a ground fault. This can reduce the risk of damage to equipment and personnel. Corner-grounded delta systems are used in some industrial applications where a three-phase power supply is required. In conclusion, understanding grounding and bonding principles is essential for ensuring electrical safety and preventing damage to equipment. By following the requirements of the NEC and other applicable codes, you can create a safe and reliable electrical system. Remember to consult with a qualified electrician or electrical engineer if you have any questions or concerns about grounding and bonding. They can provide expert guidance and ensure that your electrical system is properly grounded and bonded. When troubleshooting electrical problems, always check the grounding system first. A faulty ground can cause a wide range of problems, including electrical noise, equipment malfunction, and electrical shock hazards. Use a multimeter or ground impedance tester to check the continuity and impedance of the grounding connections. Also, inspect the grounding electrode system to ensure that it is properly installed and connected to the earth. The grounding electrode system typically consists of a ground rod, ground plate, or underground metallic water pipe. The grounding electrode system provides a lower impedance path for fault current to return to the source. A poorly installed or damaged grounding electrode system can compromise the safety and performance of the electrical system. Remember that grounding is not the same as bonding. Grounding provides a path for fault current to return to the source, while bonding connects metal parts of the electrical system together to ensure electrical continuity. Both grounding and bonding are essential for electrical safety.